Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geary Stein Stevens Show, an amazing video podcast with sports stars, entertainment celebrities, and other great guests, combining one host who has no legs, one host who lives in Duluth, Minnesota, and another host who seems to never be on the show. But now, on to the show with Troy, Dave, and maybe even Will.
That's right! Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Geary Stein Stevens Show. That's right, we are coming to you live on a Sunday night. If you're watching this after Sunday, well, then we are not live. But I am Dave Stevens coming to you from the home offices here in Bristol, Connecticut, and it's been a great week. We had Bob Lee from ESPN. We had legendary comedian J.B. Smoove, but we have got a wonderful guest for you tonight, and I want to bring in my co-host, Troy Geary, all the way up in Duluth, Minnesota. And Troy, how's the weather now? Did it warm up a bit up there?
Yeah, it's great out. So I'm excited for summer and got a fun-filled week coming ahead here. We're going to talk to our guest about that.
Yeah, let me bring in our guest because Troy he confused me. He said, we've got a fiddler on. And I'm like, a fiddler? We got Jay Fiedler? And he's like, no, we've got a fiddler. And I'm like, fiddler? And then he's like, no, we've got one of the greatest up-and-coming stars in music. And I'm like, well, that has to be the legendary Phillip Bowen. So Phillip joining us from Detroit, although he has his roots down in West Virginia. But Phillip Bowen joining us tonight. Phillip, how are you? What's going on? And how is life?
Well, first off, high praise. Thank you for the kind words. And I'm doing well. You know, it's been a busy start to the year already, and I'm super excited for this upcoming week. You know, for this big event we got going on. One of my favorite weeks of the year. Yeah, it's going well. And I'm also gearing up for this big tour I got. You know, touring season's about to start into full effect. So just trying to soak up the time, you know, with family and friends at home before the travel season starts in earnest. So I'm doing good. No complaints.
Well, we told everybody out there that you are a fiddler, but do you like to be called violinist? Like what is not appropriate? What is, you know, it's like fiddler. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm watching hee-haw, you know?
Yeah, no, it's all good. You know, I mean, I get it all, man. I get fiddle player, I get violinist, I get songwriter, I get singer. It depends on what maybe people have seen, you know, first, or where they've seen me or how they've seen me, you know, doing my thing. So I guess I'm a musician. I don't know. I'm happy to be doing what I love. This is the main point of it all.
Speaking of doing your thing, this is a great opportunity to kind of show how America got to know you, of course, and that was America's Got Talent. So sit back and listen. Again, if you're watching, you're going to hear music. If you're listening on our podcast, you're going to hear music. So don't go away. This is America's Got Talent with the talented Phillip Bowen.
All right, hit it. Let's go. That was so much fun, man.
You're muted, Dave, I think.
What was that experience like for you when you know, in millions and millions of home, people starting to appreciate what your talents were and, you know, just being in that experience?
I mean, yeah, it's hard to express because, you know, for me at least, you know, to make a very long story short, like right before COVID started, I had made a commitment to myself that I was going to give music one more try, like to try to do it for real, you know, as a career and everything. And, you know, it was just like I had a few little local gigs lined up in Detroit. They all got canceled because of COVID. And then I just started, you know, kind of chipping away at it one day at a time. I put some stuff online. It kind of blew up. And then one thing led to another. So in this moment, this audition round here that you're watching, it was very surreal in the moment because that's a humongous theater. I mean, it's absolutely massive. You know, the judges are there. It's getting filmed and everything in the audition round. And there has to be a science to this, but when you're playing in front of that many people, there is something that you can like physically feel when you know you have the audience on your side. And a few notes into it, like I was like, I got him. Like it just felt good. It was just such a good vibe in the room. And that's my parents there. You see my mom just crying right out of the gate. And so, it was really special. And then of course my hat fell off during the performance. So then I thought I was worried my hat was going to fall onto the strings and mess me up. So that's why I kicked it off the stage. In the moment I was like, I'm going to try to kick it. And I really hope I don't miss and like fall over or something. But, I just wanted to just get, I was like, all right, I was trying to just kick it and I nailed it. Thank God I didn't like miss it. But it was just, it was a really special just moment. I was really emotional because it was just so much work to get there. And, it's hard to describe that kind of a feeling when you're doing it like that, but it was truly incredible. I had a really great experience.
Yeah, you briefly discussed it, but talk about a couple of the contests you had prior to that. For those that don't know their story of how you got a couple of anonymous gifts to help further your music career.
Yeah, this was like there's an old saying I really love, which is like the day that you plant the seed is not the day that you eat the fruit. And a good case in point of this is I had got invited to do a few of these like online talent shows, and I think they were on Twitch, and I was in like 2 or 3 of those, and I didn't win any of them. I finished just outside the money. A couple I got like 3rd or 4th, but during the course of those, one time somebody made the suggestion like, hey, you would do really great with a looper pedal, and I had never heard of one at this point. And the host had suggested this very specific type of pedal. And I looked them up, and it was like $500. And I was like, oh my gosh, that just seemed like an astronomical amount of money for one piece of equipment. And so this anonymous gifter on Twitch just sent me a $500 tip right away and just like, go get it. And, I did. And then I just used it, and I kept going. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 months before AGT, I won this competition on TikTok, and I won this competition called TikTok's Greatest Talent. And it was like, hundreds of thousands of competitors, and it was a good turning point for me because I used the money from that to finish funding my album because I had run out of money to do recording. So I had like 9 songs left. I didn't make it very far. An album, if you've ever tried to record an album, like a real honest to God studio album, it is expensive, and I was out of cash. And so I won like 25 grand, and I used almost every bit of it to like finish an album and stuff, get it all produced and blah, blah, blah. So it's just like this stream of things happening. And then I got called to do AGT, and, here we go. It was like, let's go. Like last year was like a series of these different events where I didn't have any of it on my, calendar of things to happen. And it just was like one thing after another. And it's just truly surreal for me because it was just years of work, and then all of a sudden it was like doors started opening a little bit. So
Philip, what has changed now in your life now that you're kind of this guy that everybody knows and wants to record with you, and now the concert tour and everything? I mean, you have become a full-fledged star. I mean, is it real to you yet?
I think it's like you see something like I look at myself like in a picture like that where like, music brings me so much joy. And I think one of the things that really makes me feel it for real is like, I'm able to go tell my kids, like I used to tell my kids, like, hey, I'm going to go play music for people. That's all I would say about what I was doing. And then the first thing I ever brought my kids to, I got invited to play this thing called Mountain Stage. It was a life goal for me to play, and I got invited to do it. And it was on NPR, like every station in the country. And it was like a sold out, big theater. And I brought my kids out behind the curtain right before I went and played. I was like, this is what I do. And like they couldn't believe it. And, like those kind of moments are like just priceless. And so for me, I honestly have just tried to enjoy every little minute of it because I've spent so long thinking that, the time had passed me up. Like it was just too late. Like it's not reality. And, people will line up around the block to tell you what you can't do. I'll tell you that much. Like, yeah, you're too old. It's too late. It's too hard. The odds are too much. And
you got no legs. You can't do it.
Right. You got no legs, whatever. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, whatever that condition is. But the thing is, like, everything's impossible until you do it. So, I just think that for me, it's just like being able to say that, like, hey, you know what? Like, I've got this wall of things that I want to do, and every time I can go check one of those things off, it just keeps me going, because it is hard. Like music, the entertainment industry, and just like sports industry and things like that, it's hard. Like the odds are not great. So, you have to find ways to keep yourself motivated and not get burned out. Because I've been burned out, like, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just you got to find your peace with it and just keep going. Next day.
For our viewers, tell us the story how you got your love for the violin.
Yeah, sure. So I when I was maybe 4 years old, I was watching Sesame Street, and my mom was very passionate about. There's my guy right there. There's Itzhak Perlman, one of my heroes, truly. And I was watching this man right here play on Sesame Street, and my mom was very passionate about all of us, like, just learning some instrument for a little while. If we liked it, we liked it. My sister was already playing piano. And I was just, at 4 years old, I was fascinated by what this guy was doing with see how he's closing his eyes like that? I mean, I have such vivid memories of this. And he's speaking through this instrument. And I had never felt like that, watching somebody do something. And I just, like, as only a 4 or 5 year old can, I just would not let it go. I want to learn the violin. And I grew up in a part of the country where, music's a very big part of everything we do. I saw fiddles everywhere. There's, bluegrass music, Americana. So I went and took fiddle lessons. The first probably 7 or 8 years I took fiddle lessons was from an oboe player. It was like the music professor at the small college in our town, the community college. And he didn't know the fiddle, but he knew music. So he was an oboe player. And so he taught me the basics. And then I would go to like these like bluegrass festivals and stuff like that, and just listen to these old guys playing. And
well, we are very happy that you watched our show, Philip. Thank you very much.
I'm like the world's biggest Sesame Street fan. I'm such a believer in that. And I mean, I was so inspired by that. And I got to meet Itzhak when I was 12. I thought I was 12 years old. My parents took me to an orchestra concert where he was there. And at the time, I didn't have an appreciation for this, but I was like, before I knew it, we were like backstage, before like the little meet and greet reception. And I'm sure that probably cost them an arm and a leg to do that. And I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And I was like, this is so great. And anyway, so, seeing somebody that's so passionate about what they do, like, I was like, I want to do that. I want to feel like he's feeling when he's closing his eyes and doing all that. Like, that's what I want to do. And that's how I see music.
Sorry about that. I jumped the gun here.
You're fine.
I'm just listening to you, and I'm sitting there listening because I'm so emotional when I saw Itzhak getting up on that stage. And again, a person with a disability that has overcome so much.
Yes,
there are very few like that. So I was a huge fan of his, and to see him inspire you from a kid's show, it's truly is amazing. And like I said, we are so excited to have you on. We're going to take a commercial break because I already started to play it anyway. When we come back, we're going to see if he can play maybe as good as Itzhak, like 1/10, because I know you don't hold yourself to that esteem, even though the world is starting to catch on to you. So stick around. Philip's going to be playing in a little bit. Don't go away. You're watching Geary Stein and Stevens. Ditka and Jaws Cigars with the Stars and our friends at La Fratellanza have given us these amazing cigars. We had a box and they're gone. Everybody here has been coming up and they say this is one of the best cigars. It's not even supposed to be here, and now they're going crazy.
Rod Jaworski, Brian Urlacher, Warren Sapp. Everybody loves these cigars. So if you go to LaFratellanzaCigars.com, use the code GS20, you get 20% off of one of their boxes. I mean, these things, like I said, we put them down and they were gone in seconds. Everybody loves them. I mean, this is a great event, too.
I know, but holy cow, and I haven't smoked one yet. I haven't even gotten to taste it. They're just out of the Dominican Republic. They've just released them, and again, it's a labor of love for these guys that put this together. So I'm excited to have them be a part of the Super Bowl, and in fact, they were the biggest hit here, and I wish we had more boxes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they just started producing these things, and they cannot keep them produced fast enough around the shelf. They're just keep going out. But they're ramping up production, so they're going to be everywhere soon. So get yours today. Go to their website, LaFratellanzaCigars.com. Use the code GSS20 for 20% off a great box of 10 cigars.
All right, let's go find Jaws and light this baby up.
I'm excited to light it.
Man, it's about time I found a shirt that fits my frame.
I love the fit.
It's definitely a little looser here than my other shirts.
Kind of makes me feel a little more buff, you know?
You sing this? I'm 6'5". I can't do this without a shirt.
I feel like I'm getting a designer shirt for a fraction of the price.
Fits the way you want, everywhere you want.
And I look pretty dang good too, don't I?
Okay, welcome back to the Geary Stein Stevens Show. Phil, I know you have some originals and you also done some covers. What do you got for us to play?
Well, I mean, I was going to ask if you guys have anything that you really want to hear. Like, if you have something that like you have a request, I mean, I'm all ears for that. But if not,
I like a couple of your. I believe they're your songs. I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah,
but it's old. How do you pronounce that?
Old Canoa.
I love that song.
Yeah,
so that would be my personal favorite to ask.
Yeah,
you to play.
I could do it.
And then maybe he could finish with a little "Devil Went Down to Georgia," you know.
So
he can play anything.
The extreme, right?
I seen him do a Taylor Swift song.
Phil, whatever you want to play for us, just give us a few minutes and let's hear that beauty of what you do.
So maybe I'll do that then. Maybe I'll sing you the song first on the guitar, and then I will finish with the fiddle, and we'll do some like fun stuff. Maybe maybe we can like bleed like Country Roads and Devil Went Down to Georgia together or something like that. You know, make it sing. All right, so
this is live. We're just ad-libbing here. So.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
all right, ladies and gentlemen, Phillip Bowen.
Yeah. Now you're gonna hear like a little studio sound here. So don't be alarmed if you hear a little echo in the room. It's no big deal. We need to make it sound nice. All right. This song's called Old Canoa. This is about my favorite place, my home state of West Virginia. There's a place in the valley down that old Midland Trail. Black gold in the mountains and hickory on the hills. And at the devil's tea table, if you can climb to the top, you can see the emerald waters of the old Canoa. Well, there's the new and there's the golly, but they're a little too rough. The greenbrier and the holly, but they ain't deep enough. Well, there's a place in the valley that runs wide and free. She's the mighty old Canoa, and she's home to me. And you can float down to the islands. There's a rope swing for free, hanging worn and torn and faded from a big poplar tree. And you can watch the barges carry those dusty black rocks. Yeah, they power half the country down the old Canoa. Well, there's the new and there's the golly, but they're a little too rough. The greenbrier and the holly, but they ain't deep enough. Well, there's a place in the valley that runs wide and free. She's the mighty old Canoa, and she's home to me. Yeah, she'll hold you on her back for the 4th of July. She's got the best seats in the house to watch the fire in the sky. And she's been rolling since creation, and she don't know how to stop. She's the lifeblood of the people. She's the old Canoa. There's the new and there's the golly, but they're a little too rough. The greenbrier and the holly, but they ain't deep enough. Oh, there's a place in the valley that runs wide and free. She's the mighty old Kanawha, and she's home to me. She's a mighty old Kanawha, and she is home to me.
Well, I'm sitting, but this is a standing ovation.
Yeah, that was so great.
Just beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Makes me want to move there, man. It's now I know you've gone through some battles in your life. You've had to overcome a lot of things, anxiety. So especially when you've got to perform and be in front of millions and write songs and now a tour. How have you dealt with that? How have you overcome that?
That's a great question. I think that, one thing about maybe when stuff starts to happen that you're not expecting, or you kind of have that combination of the pressure that you put on yourself, and then like pressure from an industry that's not always very forgiving, and then you have the pressure of like wanting to put on the best show that you can for these people that are paying their hard-earned money to come and see you, and also for your family and friends and all that stuff. And so I think the biggest lesson I learned is that like it's okay to ask for help, and then it's also a good practice to monitor yourself and to talk about like how you're feeling, like to get like honest levels of yourself. And like, one thing like with that picture, like, I had so much fun at that audition, but honestly, that was probably is also hard for me because that's probably the worst like physical health that I've been in my adult life, was going into that audition, because I was probably working a full-time corporate job. So I was working 40 to 50 hours a week my rule was that I would never use that money to pay for music because I had to take care of my family. And so music had to pay for music. So I would work, all day long, play with the family and the kids, put them to bed. Then I would go do music every single night from probably, 9 p.m. till 1 a.m., get up at 7 a.m., take the kids to school, do it all again. And so, just kind of learning that balance and like, okay, like I got to take care of myself mentally, physically, and then obviously have some accountability with like good friends and family. And like therapy's been very helpful for me. And so like finding that balance of like, it's okay to not be okay. And I know a lot of times also as men, it seems like there sometimes can be a stigma around that, like where we're supposed to be the tough guys and carry it all on our shoulders. And there are times when you just got to power through, but the thought that you have to just like keep going when you need a break is not always true. You have to make time for yourself and recover. And so that's probably a longer answer than maybe you were looking for, but like that's for me, that's been because I've come very close 2 or 3 times to just like calling it quits completely with music. And like, in fact, the song that I just played, that is special to me because that's the first song this year in January was the first time I had a song on national radio, and it was that song. And that song, I got invited to submit that to a record label. This is probably 3 years ago. And I got some of the worst song feedback I've ever got. Like it got rejected,
I don't know what they're listening to.
It's just crazy. Like, and it like has, and that there's a line in the letter. It's like, this has no commercial potential, none. And I was like, dang, and I was so defeated. It was very early on. And I put that song on the shelf. I stopped playing it. And I was like, there are different things like that you learn to weather. And then you get so burned out. And I was like, man, this is just not for me. I don't know if I can do this. And you get down on yourself. And anyways, so I think that they're just people. Everybody's just people. And that's the one thing I've learned about, like with Big Slick, you meet all these people that you've looked up to, and I've made so many great friends through Big Slick and all the circles that I've met some people that I've listened to and loved their music for a long time and everything. But we have these conversations and you get to know each other, and we're all just people. People have struggles, and everybody has things they go through. And so I think it's important to keep that dialogue and that realistic dialogue open, because social media is not real. I mean, like it's not all good all the time. That's not life, So you gotta stay grounded. That is the biggest lesson I have learned. You gotta hang on to your people. That's for sure.
Well, speaking of Big Slick, I mean, I've been a supporter since day one. I used to live in Kansas City 15 years ago, and my daughter is here today because of Children's Mercy Hospital. She didn't have
Amazing.
cancer, but she was born premature and was in the hospital for quite a long time there. And so that's what I've been passionate about. Last year, the world at Big Slick got to meet you when you had a aha moment with Darius Rucker. Can you talk about playing fiddle for Wagon Wheel and
Yeah.
just talk about that experience? Going to the hospital the whole week, and then
Oh man.
we're so glad you're back this year. I'm going to see you next week. We're going to raise some more money, but just talk about that experience last year and what you're looking forward to coming back again.
Well, I mean, I have to start by thanking who I would definitely consider a good friend of mine now, which is Eric Stone Street. And he had reached out to me about this event, months before last year's Big Slick, and was telling me all about it. And I was like, this just sounds amazing. And I was very honored to get an invite. Honestly, I was like, man, do I belong here? This is big, this is big time. And he's like, you're going to love this. And Casey's going to love you. And I honestly, I was so impacted by this week. And we get to do lots of fun things at Big Slick. The celebrity softball game is fun. And the, meeting everybody is fun. It's like celebrity summer camp, but like, I'm telling you, the day and the 2 days you're at Children's Mercy makes it worth the trip. I mean, I was so impacted by that, like going from room to room and playing for the kids. And but even before that, I've done a lot of work with the Children's Brain Tumor Foundation, and those are causes that are very near and dear to my heart. And I've got young kids, and man, I tell you, sometimes I go in these rooms and I spend the time with the families, and I go out in the hallway, and I just need some time to cry, and like just so much passion, and it's such a special event. They're doing such good work there, and I just was so impacted. I cannot tell you what an impact those days had on my life at Children's Mercy. And I have talked about it ever since. And I was so excited to be back. And then you kind of have this icing on the cake to this experience, which is the Saturday night at T-Mobile Center. And my attitude from the beginning is like, hey, I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. Like, I'm here to help however you need help. So Eric called me not very long before the event. This was like, hey, Darius Rucker's coming. Did you hear about that? Yeah, I heard about that. Hey, do you want to play Wagon Wheel? I was like, I mean, yeah, like absolutely. Like with Darius? He's like, yeah, you want to play like on stage? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, for sure. So, I met Darius at Soundcheck, and he's such a pro. What a guy. Like super nice. Super nice. I could have been an old friend. He's like, hey, you're the fiddle guy? Yeah, like I watched you play. You're pretty good, man. That's sick. Let's just run it real quick. Walks right in. Let's just run it. You got this? So like I'm like, okay, yeah, I got this, He's like, can you just play me the lick real quick? And I'm like, all right. He's like, oh, you're going to be fine. Let's just run it from the top. Let's run from the top. I was like, okay, the band's ready. So it's like Logan Mize, who's amazing. And the house band, 1, 2, 3. I mean, that's all it was. We just ran the song. We played about 90 seconds of the song at Soundcheck. Oh, yeah, you guys are great. You're going to be fine, Phil. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, so we're good? Yep, we're good. So the first time I played that song front to back with Darius was at the show. And so like he put a lot of trust in me, and I had so much fun. I mean, you could see on the video, like I was just on cloud 9 playing with him. And then he he looked at me when it was a slow time, and he like leans into the mic. He's like, play that fiddle, boy. And like, I just went for it, and it was just cool, man. I love Darius, and like, I've loved his music for a long time. And so that's like one of those very Big Slick moments. And I'm looking around, and like, Paul Rudd's dancing with Jason Sudeikis, and like I get done, and like somebody physically lifts me up in the air when I'm finished, and it's like Travis Kelce is like, oh, that was crazy, man. How do you do that, bro? And like Pat, like all of a sudden everybody was like chatting me up, and I was like, what is happening? So it's a very special event where like this weird conglomeration of industries and personalities are coming together. Obviously, I mean, I cannot remember the total off the top of my head that we raised. What was it? It was like
$3.5 million. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like my jaw truly dropped when they showed that number. I was like, I mean, it was just, and like I don't know if you're watching and you've been to KC, like this is a great example of an entire city. When I'm telling you the city rallies around this event, like it reminded me a lot of West Virginia, because when you go to West Virginia, you don't walk 5 feet without seeing somebody in like WVU gear and stuff like that. And Kansas City, you can't go anywhere without seeing somebody with like some Kansas team on, and then you're seeing Big Slick stuff everywhere. And everybody you meet, thank you so much for being a part of this. This means so much to us. I met families. I met one family who I ended up spending a lot of time with who had like lost a child and were like just very into this cause. And we laughed together. We cried together. We're like, and I felt like I was there for 3 months, not 3 days. I mean, it's hard to explain to anybody that's not been at Big Slick what a special event this is. So as you can tell, I'm very passionate about it. I would not have ever imagined I would have, I knew I was going to have a good time, but I didn't realize it would be as impactful as it was. So if you haven't been and you're watching this, like it is worth going for one of the events or all the events. It is just so special. And I'm very thankful that Eric Stone Street had invited me the first year, and I'm so glad to be back. And I made some really good friends along the way, so it's been awesome.
Yeah, I got a quick follow up about last year. Since we are almost usually a sports show, me and Dave have actually talked to Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes at the Super Bowl. But for the average fan that doesn't get to meet them, talk about how down to earth they were and just so inviting and just chumming it up and having a great time with you.
My first interaction with Pat Mahomes was like a brush by at the Royals game because it was my first year. So like, Eric and Paul and Jason were telling me, you're like, it's your rookie year. So we're just going to ask you to do a ton of stuff. I was like, all right, cool. I'm down. So all of a sudden it was like, hey, can you play the anthem at the Royals game? Yes. Can you do this? Yes. I was just like saying, yes, let's do it. So I'm like warming up in the hallway to do the anthem. And I had a brush by with Pat, like before the softball game. And so I'm in the outfield with Creed Humphrey, who was like who is a lineman for the Chiefs. And we had a great chat. And so I am trying to I decide during the softball game that I'm going to try to steal home base. And so I don't know why this thought caught my brother Patrick, who also tour manages for me, is like on the sideline, and I'm looking at him, and we're having that like brother to brother, and I'm like, he's like, don't. I was like, I'm going to steal home. He's like, and I wasn't seeing like who was like, kind of guarding the plate, and so I try to steal home, and I like look up, and I see somebody like in the baseline. I'm gonna like try to juke him out, and it was Pat Mahomes. And so like in the same weekend, I get lifted up in the air, and I'm not like a small person, by Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Pat Mahomes at that like tags me out, picks me up, moves me off the baseline. Is like, I got you. You're not gonna juke me out, bro. And then we end up like that, like instant connection, just like such a nice. You would never know this guy as like an NFL superstar. I mean, he's like a freakish athlete. Obviously, if you see him just walk, you're like, wow, this guy's unbelievable. Same with Travis. Like, I mean, could not be nicer humans. Like, just taking all the time in the world, sitting down here, like, hey, what are you having to drink? Like, how's it going, man? What do you do? Like, tell me about your life. And we're talking about, the Big 12 and NFL and blah, blah, blah. So I was really impressed by, I thought that about everybody, honestly, at Big Slick. I did not have any interaction with the all the good folks that are there that I was like, wow, like that person doesn't want to chat. Like everybody was very down to earth and accommodating. So it was cool. I was really honestly very nervous about meeting those guys because, you see them on Sports Center all the time and doing all these crazy top 10 plays all the time and stuff like that. And then they're in front of you and they're as big as you think they're going to be. And they're just the nicest guys.
Well, you are an extremely nice guy, and you're going to be bigger than we think you are. So it's going to be awesome to watch you. We're going to take a quick break. You're going to come back and get on that little fiddle thing that you talk about, and
sure.
We'll have another live performance. You're watching Geary Stein Stevens on your home TV and Roku. Don't go away. Hi, everybody. Dave Stevens here for the Geary Stein and Stevens Show from Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Rays. And you know what? Not everybody can be a Major League Baseball player, but you can look like $1 million. What's the best way to do that? Well, go to freshcleanthreads.com. Don't believe me? That's right. You can look professional, feel good, and not spend a lot of money by wearing Fresh Clean Threads. They have amazing shirts. They've got Henleys and polos, long sleeves, and even bomber jackets. And if you like them, you can save some money by typing in the show code GSS Show from the Geary Stein and Stevens Show to save 20% off. So if you can't be a major leaguer and you want to dress like one, well, go to freshcleanthreads.com. That's freshcleanthreads.com. Tell them Dave sent you. Use that code GSS Show. Hi, everybody. Dave Stevens from the Geary Stein Stevens Show. And you know, Troy and I are on the road all the time covering games, doing things, my motivational speaking. But I have connected with LifeWave, which has really changed my life. And it's an amazing patch that not only helps me to live my life, it keeps me very active. Tammy Wellman is joining me. And now, Tammy, you put these patches on me. It is a stem cell regeneration plan. But tell us a little bit more how it works.
Yeah, so these patches are amazing. They're wearable wellness. They're non-transdermal patches. Nothing goes in your body. Your body gives off light. They capture it and they activate your body's own repair system. Your body goes to work to heal things that are in need of healing. Pain reduction, things like that.
It gave me an opportunity to play in the Celebrity Softball Classic. This video of my base hit, I wouldn't have done it without these patches. So please, if you want to know more about this product, go to patchit.life. LifeWave, it's changing my life. That's right. Oh, you know what? I was just going to show everybody, make sure that they go to LifeWave and try to use these patches, especially for a guy like me that's traveling around. It really has. Troy's been using it. We've turned it on to so many people. So again, thanks for our sponsors being a part of that. And we are back with our guest. And I think, have you got something handy in your hand that you might want to pop up to your chin and play a little bit? What do you got for us now?
This is my one of my fiddles. I have two like fiddles that I truly love, and this one is 107 years old. This is
Wow.
my little baby right here. And I have a quick, really cool story about this. So I had this one is 10 years removed from. I have the brother and the sister violin, and I found this one in a violin shop several years ago, and I always wanted it. Never thought I would get it. And then a couple years ago, I sold one of my songs, got like licensed and picked up for something, and so I went to the violin shop and I got this. So now I have them both, and I have like the brother and the sister, and they were made about. I talk about like they're little babies. They're made about 12 years apart, and like they're true. Like I mean, they're just obviously like my wife always teases me that I would take these out of a burning house.
Well, hopefully you'll make enough money someday you can buy a new one, right? I mean, honestly, we hear about people with guitars, the old ones from the 50s and 60s. What makes an old instrument stay so good compared to what gets built?
It's like the seasoning. So like a really fine instrument, like a wooden instrument like this, the more they're played, the better they get. And it's the craftsmanship. So a lot of what these guys would do is that they would have a Stradivarius that they would model their pieces after. So like inside the fiddle, there's like a handwritten label modeled after my 1725 Stradivarius, whatever, hand signature, blah, blah, blah. And so like I've actually been to Florence, Italy, and seen the one this is like modeled after. I can really nerd out about this. But anyways, so the more these things are played over time, the better they get. And the more loved they are, the better they sound. So like, this has been played before me. It was played for over 80 years by like an orchestra professional. So it's been played a long time. And so now I can like pour into it a little bit, and it's kind of built for the style of, I don't really play classical that much. I can, but I play more of like that bluegrassy, Americana style. So
what is Appalachian before you play? What is this Appalachian style? What makes it unique that people don't know?
I would say so maybe like, so like if you're thinking of like, like if you're thinking of maybe like classic like Nashville country fiddle sound, you might hear that like something like that where you're kind of hearing like, okay, that sounds like the fiddle. Appalachian kind of has these like Scotch Irish roots into it, so it sounds that little like you might hear some of that like it's because of like, so it's got those kind of influences in them where like that's how like maybe at least I can I can like if I hear fiddle in a song, I can tell like, oh, that's like a Texas fiddle player, or that's like that's somebody that's like a classically trained person playing in Nashville, or that's like that person's from Appalachia, like that person's from like North Carolina or West Virginia or something. So that's the style difference, and there's no difference in the instrument, fiddle or violin. It's the same thing. It's just how you play it. So so that's like the style you bring to like the music, and I the reason I close my eyes so much when I play is that I have this, I learned this later, but I kind of experience music like colors. So that's why I'm able to like, just pick any song and like play it right away. If I can at least jump in and play it, is because it's called synesthesia. Like I'm a synesthete when it comes to music. So I don't know how I got this rare. It's just the understanding I have of music is that it just makes sense to me in that way, and so I can just kind of sit back and like be in the song, and I just kind of am like it's like I'm following it through a maze. And anyways, so that was kind of my party trick in college. I like, put any song on, doesn't matter, any song, any genre.
YMCA by the Village People, right? No, give us something, my friend.
All right, I'll put the sound on. I'm gonna play Country Roads for you, like how I would have played it, just a fiddle, and I'll make it sing for you, make you cry a little bit. Let's see. Is that all right?
Wow, tremendous. Holy cow. That was beautiful. That's so moving. And it's almost as fun to watch your facial expressions. I mean, do you ever get self-conscious? Because I know you're not Taylor Swift or Bruno Mars. You're your own self, you're unique. Do you ever get self-conscious though that you don't fit into that role of superstar?
I used to, I used to have like, and I think that's the industry too, somebody gave me the really great advice a while back. Somebody who's a very well-known musician from my part of the country gave me this advice, and he was like, listen, like the best thing that you have going for you is that you are the only one of you, and there's no substitute in the universe for authenticity. So if you lose that, like you lose your sauce. And so like in other words, like if you lose what makes you unique, like that's all you got, So anyways, so like I'm like everybody, I think in my industry, you battle like how you look, you're comparing yourselves to other people, and I always like like I know I get like the chronic fiddle face is what I call it. Like I get that fiddle face when I play, but like that's also part of it. Like I can't help it. Like I mean, obviously, like that's how
it's a hell of a workout too, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it is. I mean, like me right there from the audition, like that's like almost 60 pounds gone from like that. Cause I was like, all right, I've got to make a change, So like I, in this picture, this is from the audition to this is like these weeks of rehearsal for the live show. This is back in Pasadena, but like, this is like me, like making a lot of changes. I still work on it. I'm still working on it. Like I made a lot of progress, but I have more to go. And I, making these changes. And so like, I was like, okay, like, it didn't happen. You're not going to make all these changes overnight. You just got to grind away one day at a time. And so when you talk about stuff like that, like I'm like, you know what, this is just how I feel the music when I play it, and I've got like, I'm not gonna like try to be, you know, somebody that I'm not. And so there's a place for that, and I think that one thing that I've been encouraged by is that every time that maybe something hasn't worked out, or maybe I thought I wanted a thing and maybe I didn't get it, I've wondered to myself, like, is that it? Like, did I hit a wall? Is that as far as it'll go? And then a door opens. And so, you know, I don't know. I just think it's like, it's just getting up the next day, and doing the next best thing you can do. You keep writing and keep playing, and you never know never know what's going to happen when that phone rings or that email comes through and the opportunity you might get. So just keep going.
Well, coming up after Big Slick, you're going to be going on tour. Kind of talk about that. You got a CD coming out, or you had one just come out, and where can we find it? Give everybody your Instagram, TikToks, all that fun stuff. And before we go, if we could do maybe like a quick mashup of all the newer crowd, these young kids that don't know about John Denver and what's his name? Vince Gill. I know you did a great Go Last Night Out. I love that one that you did on TikTok. But just talk about the tour and where can we see you and find you and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so you can find me. I mean, that's this a banner somebody did for me is very helpful with that. So because so it's just phillipbowenmusic.com is my website, and that's also my handles for social. So I got a few followers out there. I got social's been a big part of my journey. So Instagram and TikTok and all that, you can find me out there. And then the way you can listen to my music, of course, is you can listen on Apple Music or Spotify or Amazon, however you do your thing, Tidal, whatever. And then, of course, like if you really want to support your favorite artist, go buy the vinyl, buy the CD, buy merch, So like all those are ways you could support, whether it's me or somebody else, or go to a show. So like the links to the merch store and tickets and all that kind of stuff are on my site. And then, I play on a lot of people's records too. So I try to keep posting that. Like when I get to do a cool project, I love doing session work, which is session work is just when you use your instrument or voice or whatever on somebody else's record. And so I love this kind of things. I'm in Nashville all the time doing stuff like that. So anyways, so I got a lot of projects going on, and the biggest gift that the fiddle has given to me is that I don't necessarily have to tour 200 nights a year like some of my contemporaries. Even though I love touring, I have no desire to be gone from my family all the time. So being able to have like session work and private events and public appearances and stuff like that helps me kind of balance that load of like feeling the pressure to be gone and touring all the time. So just trying to find a balance, because I love being dad more than anything else. So like while they're young, like I don't want to miss any of that. So I try to keep that balance going.
And Philip, obviously you set goals along the way. And as we talked, you almost had the setback of throwing it all away. But where do you see yourself in 10 years with this explosion now? What's the ultimate end game for you?
One of my ultimate goal is to, for me, honestly, what seemed like the peak of the mountain was like, if I can do what I love and take care of my family, like by doing just music, like I thought that would be, I was like, man, that would just be unbelievable. I don't know if I could ask for anything else. And so like the fact that I get to do that now as kind of my job, quote unquote, is just really amazing. My big goal, like there's some things I really want to do that to me would be like, big life goals. And I've got a few of these things on my like vision board that I keep, my like moonshot things. And one is like, I would love to be invited to play like a song I wrote at the Opry. That's like my big, if I could play the Opry, if I get that call, like that would just, man, I would like love that. And there's something like, there's certain venues, like I would love to have the opportunity to play, like if I do a Red Rock show one of these days, like stuff like that, I have these things that like I would love to do. And so 10 years from now, I would love to be able to just check a few more things off that list. Like last year I got to do Mountain Stage and some really awesome stuff like, Whiskey Jam, and I got to be on the radio and some cool things like that. So I would just like to be, I'd still like to be doing what I love and writing songs and hopefully have a few more of those kind of bucket list things under my belt.
Well, you've been amazing as a guest tonight, and
thank you.
We don't get to do this enough because we have all these guys with stinky jock straps and stuff like that. It's really refreshing to get somebody who is a musician, songwriter, everything. Hey, you're going to be in a music video? You're going to be acting, doing any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like I got a couple of cool things going on that Okay, never mind. Okay, so I'm doing
Can't
some cool
talk
things.
about, right?
I was trying to. Yeah. Anyways, there's a couple things going on that I'm very excited about. That hopefully that you will see, and then okay, yeah, and then but like there's stuff that happens like all the time that I get to do. One of the cool things about meeting some of my friends at Big Slick has been like I got to do some really cool stuff this year. Like I got to join my friend Tim Heidecker at one of his shows. After Big Slick, I got up on stage with him at his show. I got to meet Murr from Impractical Jokers, who's going to be there this year. So I've got to like meet some Big Slick friends and like do some collaborations with them on some different things, and and hopefully we'll be doing some more TV kind of stuff. I like bringing people joy. So the entertainment thing to me is I just enjoy that. Like I really like doing that kind of stuff. So hopefully you'll get to see a few more, things like that. Somebody's like, care what you say. But anyways, so like I'm looking forward to some cool opportunities this year.
All right. Well, thanks again for being with us. Thank you to all our friends out there, everybody that follows us on social media. And Troy, thank you for this show.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, once I saw him last year, I knew we had to get him on sometime because he's a great talent, and like I said, it's only just begun, and we're gonna see more of Phillip and all his fun stuff, and I'm looking forward to next week. Phil, you'll get one of these shirts. This Big Slick shirt,
I can't wait.
Sure. So I'll see you next week. So
All
yeah,
right.
what do you got to close us out here on the show? Can you maybe do a mashup of all the fun new stuff you've been doing?
Yeah, I was thinking like I was kind of like what I used to do when I was trying to like get it going all the time. I do these like live shows online several nights a week when everybody was like stuck at home, and I would like take these viewer requests and I'd be like just literally anything, and I would just do like hundreds and hundreds of these requests just off the fly. So I think what I'll do is I'm just gonna like go on like Spotify and I'm just gonna hit I don't know, we'll do shuffle 3 times and whatever song comes up, of these ones I get requested, I've got like a list of these requested tunes, and we'll just, we'll try to like do some like honest to God, like real improv here for you. And we'll see how it lands. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll see. All right, let me just get
you go till you don't want to go, and we'll play the role. So take over the rest of our show. You've been watching Geary Stein Stevens, the future legendary Phillip Bowen.
All right, we'll do a few here. So I'll do the first one. I'll do a shuffle. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay, so we'll do a shuffle. You're gonna hear a little echo again, but that's okay. All right, first one here. We'll do some AC/DC. Then we'll jump. We'll do about 30, 40 seconds of each. We'll jump around a little bit. Oh yeah. Okay. So you may not think that the fiddle would work with this kind of a song, but it will. I promise you it will. Oh, I like it. All right, let's go. Like that's my best like electric guitar impression. Those little like that whole like and that's like that's just the fiddle. So you can do more than you think with you can with it. So let's do another one. Let's do another genre. Let's see if we can flip some genre. Oh, I like this one. This is a good one.
This is tremendous. This is tremendous.
All right, so now this is a genre that's very popular with the kids nowadays. It's called lo-fi hip-hop. This is some Star Wars. We'll get some stank on it for you, all right? Okay, I like that. That was a good one. Okay, so that's some like lo-fi hip hop.
Wow.
Star Wars, you know. It's, you know, and like that, like that's the trick. Bouncing genre to genre is like a whole different kind of worms here. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Maybe we'll do like 5 shuffles here. I want to try to get like out of the genre here. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Mr. Chris Stapleton. All right, let's make a way to finish. Here we go. So what I'm doing now is I'm just finding the key in my head. I got it. And I want to hit it on the first note. You know what I mean? Like this.
Used to spend my nights out in ballroom. Liquor was the only love I'd known. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom and brought me back. The edge too far gone. Oh, that's sweet. It's Tennessee whiskey. Honey, I stay strong on your love all the time.
Yeah, man.
All right.
That's
Thank
how
you,
do
my
it. That's how you
friend.
do it.
Beautiful night. It has been a wonderful, wonderful evening. So thank you. Thanks, everybody out there. This is going to be one you're going to watch over and over again, or at least take the last 5 minutes of our show and play it over and over again. So for Troy, for Phillip, and myself, I'm Dave Stevens. Everybody wave and say goodbye.
Thank you, Phil.
Good night, everybody.
See y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to the Geary Stein Stevens Show. Follow us on social media, watch us on yourhometv.com, or now we're on Roku. Download it and watch us. And thanks for tuning in. Until next time, America.